we have an amazing person to share with us some true wisdom about financial security and the gig economy and how women can join forces in surprising ways to empower other women. And so in addition to Dana, who is our guest tonight, we have Denise back with us, who's co-producing with me, and she will be leading our question and answer. So if you have questions for Dana or myself as we're doing this, please write them down and we'll introduce them towards the end. So Denise, thank you so much.
Okay, I'll stand it up for a minute.
All right. So listen, everybody, I am really, really excited to introduce you to Dana Hanna. I know her from a variety of venues. Number one, we met Dana because we lived in the same neighborhood in Pittsburgh called Fox Chapel. Our children swam in the same pool, played tennis, and all those things kids do in the summer. And then I began understanding that Dana is like me. Well, your mother-in-law says we wear a lot of different shoes. Or I was about to say we're onions, or we wear a lot of hats, but I love the illustration that she, or is she your aunt?
That sounds like something my Aunt Helen would have said.
Your Aunt Helen, yes, sorry, not your mother-in-law, your Aunt Helen. I wanted to get the relationship, but I heard her speak once. And what she said was talking about women's roles as the different kind of shoes we wear. So like me, Dana wears a lot of different shoes. She originally was a businesswoman and in sales and was all working within women's health. And then chronologically, you started a family and took a hiatus and then came back. And then that is where I got reintroduced to Dana as someone besides my neighbor. I began hearing that Dana was doing this thing as an ambassador and as a coach with a brand new clean beauty line by the creator of Stella and Dot called Ever. And we would have some casual conversations. And over the last 3 years, probably, we've had continuing conversations which crescendoed into I have joined Women's Health Conversations as an ambassador with the Ever line because we are about empowering women, and so is Ever. But one of the reasons I wanted to have Dana on tonight, and you see all our products behind us, I'm going to show you, I'm going to send you guys a home facial that I actually filmed. And I'm sorry, people, I am not a fashionista nor beauty person, but I did the best I can, and I'm going to send it to you. But one of the reasons that Ever and the model of Stella and Dot is so important is because financial security and women's ability to have choices in life has become really, really an important topic, because I don't like just talking about physical health. I like to talk about financial health because I don't think they're separate. So I've asked Dana to come on with us tonight and really talk through how financial security for a woman can be so empowering and giving us lots of choices, and how the gig economy plays into that. Because as an independent ambassador, and Dana has risen to the highest level of executive within the Stella and Dot empire, called the executive coach. And so she has lots of people like me that she's helping use the gig economy to work on projects that are really important to us, whether it's your own house project or whether it's a nonprofit project like mine. So Dana, welcome to Women's Health Conversations. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so good. And it's so great to see your face and to see a friend. I mean, I think we're starved for company. So I'm so happy to be on here with you tonight and to be able to connect with our mutual friends and meet so many new friends across the country too. So this was the highlight of my day. Thank you so much.
Well, and you've been a tremendous supporter all day long. If you follow Dana and all the Ever social lines, she has been out letting people know that we're here tonight because the topic is so important, Dana. You know what I discovered today, and then I'm going to let you run with this, is that your mentor was also instrumental to me. So I was telling Dana today about a woman in Pittsburgh who has come before us. She's a little older than us, and she has done tremendous work in philanthropy and really helping a lot of different women's groups and nonprofits in Pittsburgh thrive. So she was so kind to give me time earlier in my career. And she said something that really affected me. She was telling me a story about her own life and how important it was. Even though she has this amazing marriage, they have an amazing family, amazing children, her parents gave her a little nest egg. And she said to me something like, women always need to have a little something, because if we ever need it, it gives us choices. Now I'm paraphrasing her, but that was the content. And I was telling you about that today, and you're like, she's my mentor.
Yeah. And she said it in a Southern accent, and she said,
She's such a Southern.
So beautiful.
Very beautiful, much more than my Northern accent. So talk to me, Dana, about the whole thought process around women empowerment and financial security. And it's not that we don't trust the environments we're in, but it gives us choices, right?
Yeah, I want to get started with why this is important to me. So early in my career, I was in pharmaceutical sales, and in the late 90s, that was the job to have. It was the sexy job. You were making the big money. You got a company car. You got this new thing called a cell phone. You had an expense account. So
you got to go out, right?
We took doctors out to dinner. We went to concerts. It was so much fun. And there was constant learning and sharing and growing and presenting. It was a great job, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But from pharmaceutical sales, I wanted a challenge. So I moved into a startup biotech company, and I did really well there. And from there, I wanted a challenge. So I went into medical device sales. Yes. And that was a super competitive field. Very much what you faced in your career. In this particular role, it was 99% men. Mm-hmm. I was the only female in the entire Mid-Atlantic area when I got this job with Boston Scientific. So I felt like I had really climbed the ladder. I felt so proud of where I was, and I knew that I'd worked hard to get there. Now, at the time we were married, we didn't have any kids, and I found out that I was pregnant with our first baby. So my husband and I gave it some thought, and we decided that I would go back to work after our child was born, and I would work again for at least another year and really bank all those big commission checks. Yeah. So that I would have a choice to stay home when we had a second child. Because it wasn't really the kind of job you walked away from. It was the kind of job that you felt lucky to have and you wanted to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. So I had my beautiful firstborn son, Jimmy.
Who's not little anymore.
He's 15 now. And I went back to my postpartum doctor's appointment, just like any of you who are mothers did for your 6-week checkup. And I brought my sweet little boy in that little bucket that you bring your baby around in. You unclip it from the car seat. And I spoke to my doctor, and he said, I looked great. I was healed. Good job, Mom. You can go home and resume normal marital relations. So I did. And that very night, with a 6-week-old, I got pregnant with my second son.
Wow.
Oh, surprise. We didn't think the whole thing through. Let's just say we were young. So now I'm in a position where I am going back to work when my baby's 12 weeks, but I'm also newly pregnant.
Yeah.
So I made the phone call to my male boss, because remember, they were all men.
No, right. No women.
And I said to him, funny story, I know I'm on maternity leave, but I'm also pregnant. I wanted to talk to you about a possible job share or going part-time. Now, keep in mind also that I was number 1 in sales, so you would think that they'd make some kind of an accommodation for me. Mm-hmm. And I basically was laughed at. There was no option at all. In fact, I think what he said is, we don't do that here. Mm-hmm. So I had to switch gears. And I didn't go back to work when my maternity leave ended. And I was instantly a stay-at-home mom who was able to take that parking spot at the grocery store that says for new and expectant mothers. So that became my mission and my passion, was how can I help to empower these smart, talented women with so much to give, mm-hmm. and not allow motherhood to be something that holds them back, but allows them to continue to thrive, mm-hmm. in addition to being a mother, instead of in spite of being a mother.
Right.
So from there, I had I had a third baby too. So we have Jimmy, and then we have Freddie right after, and then our daughter Elise, who's
Yes.
close in age to your daughter. Elise is 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so our family was complete. I had 3 kids in 4 years. So that
You
was,
get an award just for that, Dana.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of sweating and ponytails and loud music and car rides and bottles and all of the things. But I would pay $1 million to go back there for 5 minutes. And
I know.
so when Elise was 1, I had a conversation with our shared friend that you referenced before. And I said to her, I'm struggling because I want to go back to work, but I don't necessarily want to work full time. And I don't want to have to drive downtown every day and pay to park in a parking garage. I feel like I can do a lot on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, you just come with me and we're going to figure this out together. So from there, I learned the idea of consulting and sort of running my own business on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that for the last 10 years, I was sort of sharpening my skills. And about 4 years ago, a friend came to me and said, Stella & Dot is launching this clean beauty brand. I think you'd be perfect for it. Your background, you'd really thrive here.
Yeah.
To be honest, I had some reservations because I had been approached by a lot of people who did this sort of gig job the wrong way. A lot of people that had reached out to me and I didn't feel great about where it was coming from. So I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, we're going to do it with super transparency. I'm going to know the people behind the brand. I'm going to research the brand. So I looked into the brand, and my husband's an attorney, so he looked into everything. I mean, he went through all the nooks and crannies of who the investors were. So Sequoia Capital is really well known in the venture capital world. They were the investors. Jessica Herron, the CEO, was a woman about my age, very successful. She had run other successful companies. I really liked the vibe and I liked the culture of the company. I liked the community. So I think when we're talking about the gig economy, you do have to really dig into the bones and the background of the different companies that you're looking at to make sure that it's solid, it's clean, it's transparent, and something that you can be proud to be aligned with.
Well, I would say that in my experience, because of course, I've known you a long time and I certainly trusted you as my neighbor, but it took me a long time to come around. So what are when you say do the gig economy the correct way, and I actually want to continue thinking about the financial security aspects and why that's important for a woman to have choices no matter what situation they are in life. But what is when you were thinking through and you told us that you guys dug into the nooks and crannies, what are the bad practices that people can get trapped in because it's shiny and new on the outside, but they don't look behind, the curtain, who really is the Wizard of Oz, right?
Right. Well, we don't want to be in the business of spamming people. We want to be authentic. We want to come from a place of service, and we want to offer personal recommendations because our friends do trust us. So when I say the people that are sort of doing it wrong, that's that copy and paste Facebook Messenger that you got from the same 10 people with the same 10 words. We're not about that. And I do think that the world is getting smarter and people want to connect more authentically. So looking through different opportunities that are out there, and it does seem to me like everybody from physicians to stay-at-home moms, everybody's doing something on the side. And some of it is to feed your financial security, and some of it is just to feed your soul. And some of it is because you might be a doctor, but you've always been passionate about beauty and self-care, or you might be, I don't know, any number of things. You might love your job as a partner in a law firm, but you might want something that's light and fun or just for you. There's hundreds of women in our community, and some people do use this money to pay the mortgage, and some people use it for a rainy day, or what we used to call a rainy day, which I guess is now pandemic planning, when you didn't know that your rainy day would be 6 weeks long or longer. And other people just use it for fun, or maybe they're products that you already use and love, and you found a great way to not pay full price and enjoy discounts and perks on top of all of the other great things that come along with a side gig.
Well, you know what, the story you told about your own life and wanting to be able to create your own future and do it in a way that harnessed the skills you have as a top salesperson and yet enabled you to continue to take care of your 3 children who are in the house and needed you because they were little at the time. I mean, I think that is an amazing reason to control your own destiny. My story, is a little different than that. However, the same need to be able to create my own choices was there. So 6 years into my career as a surgeon, I had a very young child. I was still paying off my college, believe it or not. It took me a long time to pay that off. I was still paying off my medical school, and I was a young surgeon. So I had just purchased, I mean, there was a lot of things. So even as a surgeon, I was living paycheck to paycheck, unimaginable, but as a surgeon, right? And then there was an instance where someone told me, we own your brain. And because I am a very Renaissance person, right? I had a website as a doctor before anybody else. I mean, it was very avant-garde when I was doing it. But, and a really Renaissance like you wear a lot of shoes or hats or whatever analogy we want to use. So do I. So somebody told me, we own your brain. You got to stop doing all these extra things. And here I was living paycheck to paycheck as a surgeon, and I had no choice but to shut down the creative side of my life and do what somebody else said to do. Because if I lost my job, that was it, right? And I was a surgeon. Imagine women who don't have the opportunities that you and I have had, and maybe they're single mothers, or maybe they have jobs where living paycheck to paycheck literally means they're renting something, right? So we all come from different environments, and yet all women need the ability to make choices. And so one of the things, like this mentor of yours who befriended me in Pittsburgh, said to me, and now I say to all the women I mentor, you have to do whatever it takes to put a little something away so that you have choices and you're not forced to go in a direction you don't want to because somebody else says they own your brain. And so I feel like becoming an ambassador with Ever or Stella and Dot, now that it's all joined in one corporation, no matter what your role is, gives you another avenue. And I'm going to tell you, Dana, maybe it may surprise you to know that there are multiple Facebook pages for physicians in side gigs. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have heard that, and I've seen some of those. I think what this opportunity does is it eliminates one fear in your life. I mean, as human beings, we are hardwired to protect ourselves. And as women, we are hardwired to protect our families and our children. Mm-hmm. So if you can remove one element of fear, and that is your finances being out of your control, it is so incredibly empowering. So I think that whether you're here to make a little bit of money, a lot of money, there are so many options. And the platform that we have created here at the Stella and Dot family of brands as an S&D ambassador, this was cooked up a year ago. We had no idea that we would be in this sort of economic crisis. Mm-hmm. But way back in August, our CEO came to us, all of the leaders of the 3 different brands, and said, we're coming together in one powerful modern platform mm-hmm. with technology that is going to give you choice and give your customers choice. So while I may love skincare, and that might be the thing I want to talk about all the time, that doesn't mean my customer doesn't want a cute pair of statement earrings mm-hmm. or a bracelet. Mm-hmm. So now when you go onto our website, it is like having your own department store. It is a beautiful website. The app itself allows you to work from anywhere in little nooks and crannies of time that you have throughout your already busy day. So technology-wise, we were well poised for this economic transition.
You know, and it just shows how forward thinking your group is, right? That you got ahead. Imagine trying to upload Mimi, which is the app, today, you know, scrambling like so many people are. So that was really forward thinking to do that. But so there are a gig economy, for those of you who are like, what are they talking about? It doesn't mean you know, there are people like me that I use it myself. These are my menagerie here. And some people make a couple $100s, or they just use it themselves. And then some people really do have a significant income. And so I think people shouldn't be afraid, or they're like, I don't know how to do a gig economy. I'm a W-2 person. I just want one stream. I think, well, that's fine. And lots of us are that. But so there's a broad range of capabilities on how to do it. But you and I are also using this as an opportunity to help our nonprofits. And so, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn. I want you to tell us about your Women Leading Women movement. But for me, not only doing this for myself and for the friends that, you know, I have several friends who skincare is really their life, who I'd like to introduce to this. But for me, the reason I've gotten involved with Ever in the context of women health conversations is because we're trying to empower women. Stella and Dot family of brands is empowering women, not only financially, but to make decisions about their lives. And the money that my ambassadorship will make is supporting my nonprofit. And I think there are women out there who could use, I know another woman who is a philanthropist in Pittsburgh, who she uses another brand and raises funds and donates all of that, because that is the way she gives back to the community. And I know you're doing that also as part of your mission with this side gig economy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it almost doesn't matter where your money goes. If you're using it to fund some greater good like you are and pay it forward and empower someone, that is absolutely so incredibly inspiring. But for the woman who is at home and is inspired by you as an individual and wants to join your team because she's got some friends who might also be into clean skincare, or who might be in their 40s or 50s, and her money goes to her walking around money. Maybe one day when we can get our nails done again, or if we can ever color our hair. So you can have these big, beautiful aspirations that impact the world, or you can make a smaller imprint. The important thing is that this is really simple to do, and it works for just about anybody. I think there are a lot of charities right now that are really struggling, and there are a lot of people who are struggling financially who might not be able to write a charitable check at the end of the year. So that's another way that we're able to give back. Mission-driven company is so important when you're considering a side gig. And at Stella and Dot, we have given millions upon millions of dollars back to charity. Just in the last month, we gave, I think it was close to $2.5 million in value to frontline healthcare workers, with poofs filled with clean beauty products, a bracelet, things. Just each poof that we sent to nurses and doctors on the front line was worth $75. We really spoiled them. We gave them something beautiful. So aligning with a leader like yourself, who's got a big picture about mission, and aligning with a company that is dedicated to giving back is really important. And I think that's something that everybody can relate to.
Absolutely. You know, something that I want to touch on before we're going to do a little extra tonight. I'm going to actually show you some of the products and tell you why I've gone with this line. But something I wanted to touch on, I was so interested, Dana, when I was watching some of the in Stella and Dot, there's a lot of ambassadors go on live to our Facebook pages and tell their stories and why they do what they do, or they're showing products they love. But there was a woman, and I frankly don't remember all the details about her life, but she had literally turned her life around. She was weeping, telling her story about starting with very little, growing, getting a tribe around her. Have you seen a lot of stories like that as you've been involved with this movement of women truly telling their stories, being empowered? Do you have any that come to mind?
I do. I mean, there are so many empowering stories, because to do this, you've got to have a pretty big why. You've got to have a pretty big reason. This is the job that you choose. There's a lot of options out there. So typically when someone chooses and aligns with a side gig, it's because it's something they're passionate about. And we always ask when we're sort of training a new ambassador, like, what brought you here? And it's always very safe answer in the beginning. Oh, you know, a little extra money might be nice. Then you dig a little bit deeper, and it's way more than that. It's they're fighting with their husband because, you know, they need more sports equipment for their kids and it's super stressful, or they were sitting at home all summer long and really getting angry because they were looking at pictures on Facebook of their friends on a beach vacation. It's always deeper and more meaningful. Or there are, right now we're raising awareness for autism because it's Autism Awareness Month. So there are women at home with children with special needs, and this extra care is really expensive. Or maybe they want to provide extra therapy like horseback riding lessons for their child with autism. There's always a super compelling reason that is either very personal or, you know, you're doing it because you want to be here. So the stories that we hear are incredible. And I mean, there are people their husbands have gone to jail and they've found an ability to care for their kids and work here with us. There are people who, you know, they found out that they had cancer and all of a sudden they got super knowledgeable on what was in their skincare products, and their passion was incredibly fierce for clean beauty. So there are stories, and the community itself. When I first joined the company, I wondered, what are the rest of the women going to be like? And I was so pleasantly surprised that they had beauty and brains in spades. This is a smart, savvy group. So you have been just such a breath of fresh air to the group. Everyone's enjoyed getting to know you and everything that you bring to the table. And I'm sure as you look around, you see people that reflect not only you, but friends that you have. I think a lot of our conversations reflect those conversations that we would have with the girlfriends that we choose anyway.
Well, I have to agree. I think everybody that I've had the opportunity to watch or talk to are just really nice people. And I don't think there's any room in this world for mean girls, because there are plenty of things that are gonna get in as barriers to us, and we shouldn't be barriers to other women. But I'm so glad you touched on, brought us back to clean beauty, because, you know, I've done 2 videos, one for Women's Health Conversations, and I was so privileged to talk to one of your top executives when I first came on about the decision and why I've chosen one line. And you'll hear it again when I follow up this with an email to everybody with the at-home facial that I filmed. Please remember, I'm not a pro at that. But I realized that at my age, which is squarely past menopause, estrogen is a girlfriend, girls. Do not be upset that you still have estrogen. That my skin is very different, and that I was trying everything to try to figure out how to get the skin I had when I was 40 back. And then I realized when I was turning around the packages to try to read what this stuff actually was and figure it out, it's like a foreign language, that when I put multiple things for multiple lines all over this face, what was happening was a chemistry experiment. Because, you know, in chemistry, when you take from this vial and you take from this vial and you stir it up and it bubbles over, I mean, who knows what the heck is going on? So due to Dana's influence and me trusting her, and I had purchased some of these products because women in Pittsburgh that I trusted were using them, I came to learn about clean beauty, and so have chosen to use one line that is all related to each other. None of the products are going to cause a bubbling chemistry experiment on your face. And so I thought I'd pull out some of my favorites, Dana, and have you comment while because you're the expert. I'm just mainly the user. So I have all these fun things because, Dana, you actually sent me 2 really amazing products that I've added to what I do, but I'm a simple person. In the morning before surgery, I've got like 10 minutes because I am not getting up 3 hours before I have to leave the door. So in the morning, what I do is I wash with this nutrient cleansing balm. Oh my gosh, people, it is the most unbelievable, silky, I like a dewy face. This is a go-to. Do you like this, Dana?
I love that product. So that's one of our 3 cleansers, and that is called Luminous, and that's a balm that you massage onto a dry face, takes off dirt, oil, and makeup, and then it it emulsifies, and then you remove it with a warm washcloth. It's a great product.
And
Really
it feels so good. And then I just follow that with Hydrolift, the moisture injection cream. Is this a pretty staple along the product?
So depending on your skin type, some people use that as a night cream, but if you're drier during the day, it can be used during the day as well, like you're doing, which is common for women past menopause who are trying to add moisture to their skin day or night.
Because my skin actually flakes off unless I get really hydrated. And then I do not leave my house without the daylight product, right?
Yeah.
Even if I wear no foundation, I've got this on my face. It's SPF 32, right?
Yep, SPF 32, so you could wear it all day long. I've worn it to beach vacations in Mexico and I haven't burned. I wear it all summer long. It really protects your skin. And it comes in several different tints so that if you want a little bit of color, you can add to that. So I use the medium tint every single day, whether I'm going to the gym or going out at night to dinner.
And what's good about these pairs is that both of them contain the patented ingredient LSR10. It's the bioactive complex, which has actually 3 ingredients in it. And we've written a blog about that you can find on Women's Health Conversations. But that is the key, that is the glue that holds this all together. Is that right?
That is such a good point, because there are a lot of clean beauty brands out there. There are a lot of clean beauty brands with a great mission, but there are not a lot of clean beauty brands with clinical grade active ingredients that show these transformative real results. So that's what makes this line stand out from others. And I think that's why we have so much repeat usage. Our reorder rate is incredible. And that is because people see the glow in their skin, they see their lines soften, they don't want to run out of it, and they want to make sure that as soon as it runs out, another one's coming in the mail to them.
Well, and there is the, you can order singly, or there's the resupply capacity when you order. It can come every periodically. But, you know, I am vain enough that I watch this wrinkle right here and a couple up here. I mean, I watch them. So I know that this stuff is working, because when I am dry and crackly, the wrinkle shows up here. But at night, I get a little bit more serious. So at night, you just sent me this, and I love this, because those that know me, I wear this dark eyeliner as a cat eye. I have even before Adele did it. So I need to take that off. So this beauty water you sent me, I used to just scrub my face with soap and water. Before I would do this, I would just take off the eyeliner first. This is amazing.
It's so great for taking off makeup, but it's a micellar water, so it will remove dirt, oil, makeup right from your skin. So that's something you can keep in your gym bag too. It's also really popular with teens, because they might not need an anti-aging regimen, but we have different products in our line aimed to start good habits and start caring for your skin at any age, and that's really popular.
Yeah, well, you just sent me this, and it's one of my new favorites, because it just works so well. And then I like the cleansing balm, of course, but the other thing I use at night, which I think really works, are these biomimetic peel pads with the LSR10. And I'm just going to show people what they look like do you like these?
I love those. They are unique to our line, and they're an award Best of Beauty winner, which is like the holy grail of beauty awards. I call them magic erasers. I grew up in New Jersey on the beach, and in New Jersey, the tannest girl wins. That was at least what I thought in the 80s and 90s. So I literally watched years of sun damage and dark spots be removed right on those pads. You swipe a pad over your face and you can look at it and you can see it on the pad. They use azelaic acid to exfoliate. So you're really breaking down the top layer of your skin to reveal brighter, younger skin.
And when it goes on, it feels a little tingly. It's not a painful tingly. It's just a little tingly, like, oh my gosh, it's working on that wrinkle. And so I love this at night. And then the other thing that I use at night is the Ever Overnight Facial. It's a very viscous product. It's cellular renewal oil. I've just come to like this.
I love
Lots
that.
of people
product.
like this. It's
Liquid gold, and that product has retinol in it, but because it's encased in these beautiful botanical oils and omega-3s, it's hydrating while it's helping to speed up cell turnover. That's a great product for Mother's Day too. If you end up with any men in your life looking for a gift, that's a really popular one.
Well, I'm glad you brought up, because I had forgotten that it had retinol in it. But I've tried to go to a dermatologist and do that, and I just have too sensitive skin, and so I had given up. But the fact that I can use this, and this does not burn me like the straight out of the tube retinol does, so I'm so thankful for this, and I use this every night. I like it. And then you sent me. Oh, you sent me a couple other things. I must have had this other thing around, but you sent me Quench.
Quench is new. Quench is terrific for hydration.
Yes.
So Quench is a hyaluron booster. So you'll put Quench on after you wash your face and before you put on your serum or your day cream. A good rule of thumb with skincare products is you go thinnest to thickest. So because that is so thin, it's like a drink of water for your face. You put that on first, you will instantly see your skin looking more hydrated. And you can use that twice a day.
Well, and just to note, hyaluronic acid, we use it in orthopedics. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and hyaluronic acid is a substance that our bodies use to attract fluid, for instance, in joints or in our skin. And despite the fact people like to take it as a pill, I do not believe it is absorbed in the gut and then pushed to the skin. So hyaluronic acid can be injected in your doctor's office, but the fact that this will absorb through the skin, I have used the syringes that we get in our office actually that are used for joints, and when we had extra ones, I would be doing this, and it really works. The fact that this is now in a cosmetic that we can all afford and could be in our houses, really good, because we know this is a biological product that works.
Yes.
The other thing that I thought was so fun you just sent me is Youthful. I'm going to show people how this happens here.
The Youthful line is our #1 bestseller. So it comes in a serum. This is a night capsule. It's in this beautiful rose gold little pod that you twist off. And then you would use this last at night. So you would squeeze that onto your skin, and it's like matte silk. It is wonderful for smoothing. It has LSR10. It has so many active ingredients in it. That has been a wonderful bestseller as well.
So I'm not saying that everybody has to use all of these at once. In fact, you gave me very specific instructions. But you know what? I think the fact that this discussion demonstrates the authenticity that you are looking for in any side gig that a woman would use to give herself financial choices. Because I got involved because women in Pittsburgh that I trusted were using it. And then I tried a few and they actually worked. And the combination of those things has made me jump in to use this, not only for me, but to empower other women through my nonprofit and through my friends who are, why wouldn't I want to share this? So I feel like our story, your story, mine, our story together really authenticates the whole point.
It does. And it provides such a connection with friends you haven't talked to in so long. I mean, I can't tell you how many people are now in my everyday world that I used to just miss, like my best friend from high school, my best friend from college, people that I knew a little bit that are now dear, dear friends. I always joke that if something suddenly happens to me, I don't think Duffy knows who half of my friends are to tell them to come to my funeral, because the community itself just really lends itself to such a vibrant place of connectivity. You may come together in the beginning because you're looking for some financial freedom and independence, and then you're going to find that you bond with people and that you're inspired by people and that you become a better, stronger businesswoman for owning your own little chunk, your own little piece of the economic puzzle right now. The things that we're learning right now with technology and shifting gears in this new world order is priceless and invaluable, and skills that we wouldn't have if we didn't decide to jump in on a side gig.
That's right. And so we're going to bring Denise back into the conversation and take some questions and answers. But If you've joined us late and you're wondering why is Women's Health Conversations talking about financial security in the side gig, it's because we know and profound literature shows that the stress that comes from not having financial choices or not being or the stress from financial burden is one of the things that breaks up good marriages and causes the chronic stress that leads to chronic disease. And so the relationship between physical well-being and financial well-being are completely interrelated. And therefore, this is a very pertinent conversation for Women's Health Conversations. So welcome back, Denise.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And actually, we've got a couple of questions teed up here for you. So actually, the first one, it's a shift back to kind of the beginning of the conversation. And the question was, do you feel that there has been a shift in the way women are perceived in the corporate workplace? You know, kind of speaking to your time at the when you were in the sales and you wanted to work part-time. So what's been your take on that shift?
Without a doubt. I mean, if I had the same situation happen to me today, I think that there would be numerous options to work flexibly, to job share, to work from home a few days of the week. And I think we've also found that there are so many more women in corporate positions of power who have helped move that forward. So I think it's a completely different world in that sense. I don't think we're there with equality yet at all, but I think that we're definitely moving in the right direction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that actually the fact that the gig economy has grown so dramatically in the last few years, do you think that's played into it?
I think that women having choices empowers them and gives them more confidence. And I think that spills over into their personal relationships, into their marriage, and into what they bring to the workplace, whatever their full-time job is, if they have one. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we've got a couple of speed round questions. Are you ready for those? They're a little bit, some beauty, some finance, so you should be able to handle these just fine. So what is your favorite beauty tip?
Oh, hydration. I think you can fix most of your skincare concerns with adequate hydration. So a good day cream, a good night cream. I would start there.
Okay, great. What do you think is the most common beauty mistake?
Not washing your face before you go to sleep. And I have found a solution to that, because if we get caught up in Netflix and we hit the next episode and hit the next episode, I might be too tired to wash my face when I go to sleep. But I think getting into the habit where you wash your face when you get your comfy clothes on. Now, for some of us, that may be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in our condition, but most of us, it's after dinner, you get your comfy clothes on and you do your routine then. It doesn't have to be a bedtime routine. It's just something that happens when you take your makeup off in the evening.
That is a fantastic tip,
That is
actually, right?
advice.
Get comfy and let your face breathe, right? Exactly. All right.
It's probably going to be 4 o'clock whenever I get home, whatever time it happens to be, because I am out of the work stuff and the heels come off. So
That's right. That's right. All right. So what's been the most surprising aspect of owning your own business?
I think for me, the most surprising thing is how fast you can become a leader in a company. You can literally join today and become a leader and be able to influence and help and mentor so many women. I thought that I was getting into this because it would be fun. It was something I could do with my friends. I really liked the products. I had no idea the gift that being a mentor to so many people would bring me. And I think Vonda probably has been a mentor to hundreds, if not thousands of people throughout her career. And she offers that same exact thing here with our company.
Great. Okay. What is your best financial advice now that you have been operating your own business?
Well, if you had asked me 6 weeks ago, I would probably say save it. But in the current condition we're in right now, it's just have another stream of income. It doesn't have to be with us. It should be with someone you trust, and it should be with a company with a proven track record. But if you need to dip into something and spend it now because that's the current situation that you're in, I think just having the guts to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to call myself an entrepreneur. I'm going to align with a company that I believe in, and I'm going to go for it and have that extra stream of income.
Yeah. Okay. What sort of podcasts or book series or advisors do you turn to, even outside of the company, for advice on building your business?
Well, our CEO, Jessica Herron, has one called Self-Made. And this is applicable to anybody. You don't have to be in our industry, just with real life advice. She's raising 2 teenage girls. She and her husband live in California. She has a lot of experience, life experience in just motherhood. Economic stimulus. She's super passionate about women. So that one is always a good one to pop in your ears when you're going on a walk. I'm also a sucker for like some of the more entertaining ones. I really like the ones by Wondery. I listened to that Dirty John one last year. I'm listening to one right now that's sort of similar to the show Succession that I can't wait to come back on the air. So I try to have a healthy balance of a little bit of business and a little bit of just let this podcast be a little vacation for your brain too. But constantly be feeding your mind with something. It's not often that I'm in the car in silence. I usually have my earbuds in, listening to something that will make me feel either inspired, relaxed, or entertained.
Great.
I love that answer. I love that answer, Dana. I love that. Feed your brain on vacation. I love that.
Okay, so if you could name, say somebody is looking to join a company, right, in the same fashion that you have, what would be your top 3 tips for things to look for, and and quite possibly organizations that will survive in the future here?
I think you have to look at a company that has a strong technology platform, which is something that we have in spades, and a company that offers choices. If you're a single product category company, you are at greater risk than a company that could flex in and out of one department into another. So for example, we never really have to say that it's a slow month in skincare, because we also offer jewelry and fashion and bags and charms and keepsakes. So having that variety there is really important. So I think technology is key. I think looking at your leadership and having a mission-driven company is also really important. And then, knowing the person or trusting the leader that you're aligning yourself with. I think friendships go a long way in helping people be successful. So if you could join a company where you have some knowledge that that person has shown success in past endeavors, I think it's safe to go under their wing and learn the ropes with a friend.
Great advice. Great advice.
Mm-hmm.
How or what would you tell your 20-year-old self, your younger self? What kind of advice would you give?
I would tell her to stay in the bikini and walk around in the bikini all day long, enjoy that like young, strong body. But I would also tell that same person that the changes you're going to go through as you enter motherhood, as you raise teenagers, that you actually will become a stronger and more confident woman with age. So I would tell her to appreciate, have fun, marry the right person, which thankfully I did, because you never know when you're going to end up in a pandemic and with that person 24/7. Hey, 20-year-olds, pick the right guy. And for those of you in your 30s and 40s, embrace the stage you're in too, because there is so much strength in aging with grace and with confidence.
Oh, that's such a fantastic answer.
Dana, thank you so much for taking this almost entire hour with us. And I appreciate all your support in my endeavor and everything you're doing for women. And seriously, good luck in your Women Leading Women. We didn't get to talk about it tonight, but we will broadcast it if you send me stuff to our various audiences. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Connecting with you guys was the highlight of my day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are back Saturday with plastic surgeon Sheila Nazarian, who's going to talk to us actually probably a little about plastic surgery, not a lot, but mostly about living the life you envision, because she has really created the life she always wanted through the choices she's made. And I think that is a powerful story. So thank you, and join us again on Saturday. Bye. Bye, Dana.
Bye.